everyone. Thanks for joining our session on hosted workspaces. I'm Nancy from dinCloud, and we'll be leading our webinar session today. I'm a communication specialist, and like many of you and many of your users, I'm constantly looking for new ways to get more done during the workday and beyond. In today's session, I'll cover how you can empower users with a hosted workspace strategy. We'll start at the beginning with an overview of dinCloud's hosted workspace suite, what it is, and what it can do for your business. Then we'll dive deeper into our workspace services, including hosted desktops, applications, and remote desktop services. I'll put this slide up now and at the end of the webinar. If you would like any additional information, please see our website. We host a number of hosted workspace resources there. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Please contact us today. Now, let's take a closer look at how we work today, or for illustrative purposes, how Joe works. Joe is a modern worker. For Joe and most people in today's workforce, work is not confined to the four walls of his office or between the hours of 9 and 5. Of course, Joe works in the office during the workday, but he also often works from home. Joe even works on the go. When he's in line at the grocery store, he sends an email or two. Joe may even quickly view a document from his iPhone in a waiting room. Where and when Joe works may vary, but regardless of his location, he still requires access to his data and applications. And of course, we want to ensure this is secure access. Now that the way Joe, or we work, has changed, there's been a larger shift in the industry. We've established that Joe needs anytime, anywhere access. But Joe also needs a consistent, easy-to-use experience, whether he is working from the office or at home. But let's also consider the IT staff at Joe's company. They want Joe to have the tools that he needs to be productive, but it's also their job to maintain control and visibility into their infrastructure and, of course, to address security concerns. Historically, deployments tied to mobility and BYOD initiatives have proven more complex. So IT needs to solve for that when evaluating a hosted workspace solution. Now, here's a closer look at the user's perspective. Mobile access is a priority. Where they are working keeps changing, but they also want a consistent experience regardless of their location and the device they are using. Users also want a single sign-on so they don't have to constantly switch back and forth between accounts. For administrators, areas for concern are control, visibility into their infrastructure, and security. To address these concerns and the changing way in which people work, hosted workspaces are being adopted at a much faster pace today. But before we get any further, what is a hosted workspace? For those of you who are not familiar, we define a hosted workspace as a cloud-based platform that, like a physical workspace, gives users the access to the data and applications that they require to work. In our case, our hosted workspace suite includes 3 key virtual services: hosted virtual desktops, hosted applications, and remote desktop services. A hosted virtual desktop connects users to their applications and data, which are hosted out of our secure virtual private data infrastructure. For added flexibility, our solution is compatible with Windows, Apple, iOS, Chrome, Linux, and Android operating systems. Now on this next slide, dinCloud's remote desktop services, or dinRDS, enables users to access session-based desktops from within a corporate network or streaming from the internet. They allow admins to deploy desktops via a persistent, dedicated machine and a pooled set of resources. dinRDS is enterprise-grade, and like all dinCloud services, we see multiple inherent security measures, including a dedicated firewall and SSL encryption. Now, on to dinApp. dinApp is a turnkey app publishing platform. Through this platform, you can run any Windows application like you would on a traditional computer. To further differentiate between these offerings, I've listed use cases for each service on these next slides. First up, dinDaaS. DaaS solutions are ideal for companies who want to customize their end user's experience. When leveraging a shared instance, like I'll cover with dinRDS, resources are shared. This means one pool of CPU, memory, and disk space. For Power DaaS users, though, who use DaaS as their primary means of access, a dedicated config through which users get their own instance is better suited. Hosting the entire desktop also makes sense if corporate policy dictates that end users are not able to install applications on their endpoints. As for dinRDS, our remote desktop services, the end user experience is akin to that of a physical machine. dinRDS can be ideal for organizations that are looking to scale or those that are anticipating adding additional users at a rapid rate. Given the shared resources, dinRDS can be ideal for companies with light workloads who are using virtual machines as a secondary access point or who are just virtualizing specific applications, not all applications. Now, on the app virtualization side, virtualized apps are ideal when compatibility issues require multiple versions of the same application. You can run multiple versions of the same app at the same time on any endpoint. For instance, Microsoft Internet Explorer 8 and 11. You can also deliver Windows application to any physical or virtual Windows, Mac, Linux, Chromebook, iPad, or Android device instantly. Virtualized apps are quicker and easier to roll out as compared to traditional methods. Another salient use case is for legacy app support. You can access legacy-based apps through multiple versions of an application, again, Microsoft Internet Explorer 8 and 11, if your legacy apps have compatibility restraints. One illustrative example of this is with a current dinCloud customer. They are in the pharmaceutical industry and needed to virtualize one of the core applications they use to run their business. They ended up deploying a DinApp solution. I have to say that the seamless desktop integration provides employees with an easy-to-understand application access method that mimics that of a standalone workstation. Plus, they lowered their bill by 2/3 while providing all of the functionality they required, which never hurts. Now that we've covered the use cases for those of us in IT, let's circle back with Joe. His needs from a hosted virtual workspace are a little different. So, does the cloud cater to how he and we work today? For starters, these tools can be made available to users in a timely fashion. Our customers often cite drastically reduced onboarding time for new employees, whether they are onboarding a single new hire or need to integrate a number of new users following a merger or a similar scenario. It's much easier and quicker to deploy a virtual workspace than it is a physical one. Now here on this next slide, going back to the end user side, once users are up and running, cloud services are simple and easy to use. We call our cloud services turnkey. That means from the end user perspective, the experience is simple and intuitive, so they should have no issues transitioning over to a virtual desktop or application. As we all start to rely on an ever-growing number of devices in our arsenal, dinCloud's compatibility and interoperability mean that users can access their workstation from their work computer, their personal laptop, and their tablet, whether they run on iOS, Android, or Windows. With an ever-increasing number of people working either remotely or from home, Workspaces make it easier for them to access their data and applications when not in the office. And along that same vein, users who want to bring their own device into the workspace will have an easier time doing that with a virtualized desktop. Now, for a little added consideration for administrators, we have multiple security measures to ensure users can securely access a virtual workspace. We host our infrastructure in top tier 3+ data centers. Plus, I have here on the screen some physical controls we implement to prevent breach. Those include guards and man traps, biometric cage access, kinetic digital locks, and cameras in cage and throughout the facility. On the virtual side, we encrypt data in transit and at rest, take regular system-level snapshots, perform IP reputation filtering, have two-factor authentication, and again, our data centers meet the highest security standards with SSAE SOC 1, Type 1, and 2 compliance. Now, a few slides back, we cited control and visibility as some of the prime concerns that admins have when it comes to the changing nature of the workspace. We solve for that with our cloud orchestration portal, dinManage. As you can see, dinManage allows admins to perform a number of functions to customize their infrastructure. This includes automated provisioning, Active Directory automation, and site-to-site VPN setup. You can also monitor and create reports on utilization and spin resources up or down as needed. So with that, we'll conclude our session today. Again, if you need any additional information pertaining to hosted workspaces or cloud solutions in general, visit our website, or you can contact us today via sales@dincloud.com. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.